I hope you have relaxed. I hope you found yourself a comfortable position. Okay? It's simple, straightforward, and to the point I want to go. After my first partnership ended in 2017, early 2017, and I was running the business by myself. It became so cumbersome to manage because remember that this business was a vandalized business. All the resource of the business was taken by my former partner, and there was nothing, next to nothing left. So I was barely scratching the surface, keeping on to keep on. And an incident happened where an ambulance was called for me. I didn't know what happened, but my body started shutting down. I couldn't move any part of my body. My body started shutting down. And I luckily had two girls that came to, because I outsourced cooking that time, so they came to cook. Luckily, I was there with them. And they asked me, Castro, are you okay? I said, no, I'm not okay, right? And, they tried managing me by, sitting me down, all of that. I just told them, phone the ambulance for me. And they did. The ambulance came, they did on the spot ECG. I just woke up though, but imagine waking up and getting this first kind of start of the day in the first of the month. So that's what prompted me to sit down here and do this piece. Usually, if I would have done this, I would have done it long ago, but I looked at it all and say, you know what, I don't give a hoot about what people say, but then it's affecting what I'm doing. It's affecting, my personality, my persona, my everything. It's affecting it, and I wouldn't just keep quiet. So let me fast track. After the ambulance incident, because when the ambulance came and took me, my car keys, my wallet, my everything was at the restaurant. And I felt like, is this it? Like, seriously, is this it? And I took a decision. Because then I was 2 months behind with rent as well. I had a lot of bills that obviously, because the money the business was using to do that was taken out, and I'm barely scratching the surface to keep back. I started accumulating debt on top of the one that was accumulated. And I decided to sell off the business because it was not worth it. At that time, my life had been threatened by, me trying to run all the facets of the business and the resultant effect thereafter. I decided to sell. Long story short, people came to buy, people came to partner. The one that came to buy, a story for another day, because the reason he didn't buy was he felt I was desperate. So even when we had done every agreement, everything, the day we were supposed to, he knocked off 10 grand from the agreed amount, the discounted amount I was selling at then. So I told him, bro, I'm not desperate. But because the Kenyan guys, Charles and Alex, because they were already pleading to join, that alternative there, what they specifically said to me that made me consider what they were saying, and they eventually accepted, was, you are going to Nigeria. When you come back from Nigeria, your business is still there. I felt, okay, all right. So they joined the business. I gave them the exact condition I accepted from someone who joined the business with the former partnership, wherein he said he's going to be a sleeping partner. I wanted to sell this business and do something else, and you are saying you want to join because you don't have the money to buy. I said, all right, I'll be a sleeping partner. I'll not be actively involved in running the business. The ownership of the business is not in contention, because every facet of the things that you met it in the business. You didn't buy none. You met. All right? So the ownership is not in contention. What we agreed going forward was, you guys are gonna, we are gonna be running the business. I'll be sleeping partner to the business, but we are going to share equally profits, not shareholding and whatever. I said equal sharing of profits, because you are running my establishment without me being involved, and what you generate is fair, that you take yours, I take mine. Ownership was never in contention. But then I traveled to Nigeria because I have politics office to run. I have political office to run. I spent on that trip, the original plan was to spend 3 weeks, come back, plan myself, and then go back to Nigeria. But when I got to Nigeria, what I found on ground, on my campaign team and all of that, didn't give me I didn't see any justification or in coming back in 3 weeks as I had originally planned. So, because what I wanted to do then was to go and register for my voter's card, because it would be funny, you are running for office, you don't have voter's card. So I basically went to do my voter registration in Nigeria and come back to plan myself for the campaign phase and everything. But when I saw what my campaign team was doing on ground, I felt no, there is no need coming back to England. Any plan I think I needed, I had already of whatever plan I needed more as of then was in Nigeria, which was why I stayed back to consolidate. And I did that. Ended up spending 13 months, 2 weeks and 2 days before I came back to England. So that is where it becomes interesting, because the instance I came back from from Nigeria to England, stayed about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, thereabouts, saw how things were going with the business, because I go there every day, literally, and then I called for management meeting. The first time, second time, it never worked. Third time, never worked. It took me saying certain things like, are you guys for real? Is this how you've been running a business without having meetings? Where do you strategize? Where do you plan? How do you execute? What metrics do you look at to know if you are going forward or if you are going backwards? Nothing. All I met when I came back was a stiff relationship between Alex and Charles. Alex was the one actively running the business. Charles was nowhere to be found. He comes in whenever it pleases him. So that brought about the rift between both of them. So Alex was the shoulder of the business, technically or basically, when I was away. When I came back and I heard things that were going on, because this person will try to bring me to speed, that person will try to bring me up to speed, and I felt, these two are not communicating. Instead, they are having a fight. That period, before I came back, Alex had threatened Charles he was going to buy him off the business. Remember, Charles brought Alex. Charles was the person I approached and told about me selling the business, which is, story for another day. But as at the material point, I came back in 2019 when Alex and Charles, were seeing to the business. It was Alex who was shouldering all basic responsibilities of the business, with huge complaint that Charles never turns up, always giving excuses for being engaged with work and all of that. So remember, the work is his personal work. The business is meant to be a partnership where efforts are meant to be equally contributed, so that the business can be driven forward. That was the situation on ground. And when I called for the meeting, the fourth meeting that eventually rallied everybody around, without introducing the agenda of the meeting, Alex opted to speak. And I was like, relax. What you might want to say could be part of the agendas I have for this meeting. So if you hear the agendas, then you will not know when to chip them in and all. He said, for real, he knows that what he has to say is not in my agenda. I said, okay, then you have the floor. And he said he's resigning, he's ending it with this partnership, blah, 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 which was really not in my agenda, and which nullified the meeting, because at that point, there was nothing to be discussed if he's opting out. And remembering the things that people had said, my previous partnership, the image slandering they went about my person, I felt bad. Why will Alex leave? Why will the one who is running the main thing, why will he leave? Why? I couldn't fathom that. And I felt, okay, put it in writing, right? Because if it is in writing, then it wouldn't be my words or Charles's words against yours. It will be your word for your word. He said, yeah, he's going to put it in writing, which he did. He sent me a copy, he sent Charles a copy, and he sent the company a copy. The copy I have. He gave reasons why it was no longer viable for him to continue. I personally pleaded with Alex to have a second thought, before the letter eventually arrived. I said, bro, from all analysis I've made, from what I've been told by people and both of you, you are the one running this. And if there is any difficulty you are facing, because Charles was not being cooperative in, doing the biddings of the business, now I'm here. It's an extra hand. Though I'm meant to be sleeping, but I can't, because this is my business still. I can't be sleeping watching it go bad, which was why I called the meeting. The first one that failed, second one that failed, third one that failed, and then I had to speak in certain manners, and the fourth one happened. And that fourth one happening was, Alex resigned. Long story short, all my pleading fell on deaf ear. He was determined to resign. And I left it at that. I respected his decisions. And going forward, he did something wonderful to make the resignation, transition very smooth. He got a diary where he detailed the suppliers, their phone numbers, their addresses, people that we do, all sort of different subcontracting to. The pest control guys, the plumber, the gas engineer, the people that have the resource persons basically. He gave all of their details, which I still have till today, the diary in question. And he gave a breakdown of the investment of himself and Charles to the business, which was very questionable, but at that time, it wasn't my headache. What I was gunning was how to manage the situation without the business collapsing, because it is me going back to that position that made me to want to sell the business, because Charles was not forthcoming with anything whatsoever. The days you will see him in weekends, he will just come stand behind the bar, do some sell for the day, and count it that he's done so much. But the business requires a lot more than that. A lot more than that. So with him, another barrage of drama started. He wouldn't come for meeting until you shout and shout and shout and beg and beg and beg. He will come for meeting. It will be argument reading meeting. No, you understand? And because he was already, he's already fallen out with Alex. Anything I'm talking and mentioning Alex will fry his brain immediately. He will flare up. I begged Alex to assist me before he travels, because this happened at the time I came back and all this drama happening. Charles traveled to Kenya, so officially he was not in the UK, right? And Alex was going to travel to Kenya as well for a long stay, which was part of the reasons he gave for resigning from the company, from the partnership, which is all in writing anyways. So in between that time, I found it like, man, this thing that you ran away from is just on you and on you alone. So I pleaded with Alex. I said, since you are around and in good faith you have demonstrated your resignation is not out of any bad blood, right? Can you help me in your spare time before traveling in, helping me mock up one or two things, which obviously you have been doing for the business when you were still part of it. But I know you are not part of it, but if you have spare time, can you help me? Because it will be a lot for me to do by myself, waiting for Charles to come back from Kenya. Then we have two staff that alternate shifts as well, but it's still a lot of work. He accepted in good faith. And that made a lot of people not to know about his resignation. And when Charles came back from Kenya and met that situation, he was mad. He was like, Castro, what is this? Why? I said, bro, because you don't know what it takes to run this, right? You think it's just about saying, oh, don't. Then who is going to do it? Now you are here. You can take off from what's that help that needs, doing, that assistance, that partnership, that's your contribution, that your quota. It's time to bring it to life. Alex is going to Kenya. I pleaded with him to help me, so it's not a big deal that you're not in talking terms with him, will not make me not to be in talking terms with him, right? So I told him it's nothing to worry about. It's a favor he's doing me. And then Alex went to Kenya. We continued doing our business as the remaining partners, me and Charles. And exactly all the complaints that Alex was giving was exactly how Charles was living out the partnership life. And I told him, boy, this is not going to happen, bro. It's not going to happen. It's either you are coming to terms with things as they should happen, or I call off the partnership, because one, all the conditions of the partnership have been null and void. I'm supposed to be a sleeping partner. I'm active. That means that partnership is no longer subsisting. It's meant to be a 3 people thing. Alex left. It's no longer subsisting. But I'm not on about that, because I don't want to be in that situation whereby, activities around me will be justifying rubbish people have talked, in the sense of, oh, he chased her. They said I chased them out of the business, bro, in England. Well, that story for another day. I'm not on about that. So I was putting extra effort to keep this business going. Charles was nowhere to be found. His excuses is, oh, I finished late, I'm starting early. It's your work. That work is giving you money in your pocket, not in my pocket. It's not giving any other person money other than Mr. Charles Karande. And if the activities of that work will not let you function in a business, you are a partner, then that partnership is null and void. And I've been calling you, all the messages are there, all the text messages are there, all the communications are there. How many times I've called Charles for meeting? All on deaf ears. And the last straw that broke the camel's back was Charles traveled to Kenya without even mentioning it to me. And we had important things lined up to do. And I texted him, Are you able to do this as agreed? He said, I'm not in the area at the moment. I felt, okay. About 4 days or so later, I sent him an update request, and he copied where he said, I'm not in the area, and pointed a finger to it. And I was like, what, hold on, what do you mean you're not in the area? Where are you at then? And he told me he was in Kenya. I said, really? Do you know all this while I'm talking to you, I don't have access to the business account? If somebody buys something, if somebody pays money into the account, because we have customers who pay directly into the account instead of using the card machine or paying cash, I'll have to phone Charles to confirm it. Sometimes it's never confirmed. If we make a purchase from a supplier that we need to transfer funds to, I have to phone Charles to do that. Sometimes he does it more than 48 hours, more than 73 hours from the time it's ought to have been done. So it wasn't giving me any leverage to negotiate better for the business when it comes to suppliers and services. And I said, you know what, bro? Add my details to the company house so that by extension, I'm going to get added to the bank, and I can do these transfers in real life, feed. There is no need with this rigmaroling making the business lose, people lose faith in the business from the way he was conducting things. I made that request around November last year, 2022, October, because it was in October 10th, if I remember, that we had a meeting with the police and the council on a Monday, and miraculously or mysteriously Charles was available for that meeting. He was never available, but because he was the authority, that day he doesn't go to work or whatever, or finishes early the next, I don't know, but it's a day that I've seen him come out of his shell all of a sudden and be available. But on a normal, he's never available. So after that day, the 10th or 11th of October, if I remember clearly, I had a meeting with him, which I called a productive meeting, because in that meeting we were able to talk about a lot of things that were, bothering the business. And I made this request verbally to him: add me in the company house. It's going to fast track a lot of things that is stalling because of your unavailability. And what we need to do is to share out areas of responsibilities so that we know when it comes to things like this. We've done that before, in one of the meetings we had where we shared out areas of responsibilities, and all the things he opted to do was things he can do from his phone, which is this account management, blah, blah, blah. All other things, procurement, staff management, all the hard stuff was me. I took it as my responsibility because I could test it. But those ones were not being done. We were behind in bills because they were taking off direct debits to be manually transferred and running behind in them. We were behind in a lot of things, and sending out requests to pay people, we are as well behind in it. So nothing was functional as far as Charles is concerned. He does anything at his leisure. And sometimes he asks questions as though he's a staff instead of a partner in the business. That's to tell you the level of involvement. There are things that the staff knew better than him, and it was obvious. So he did not oblige that request to add me in company house, and that got me thinking, what's happening? Hold on, why is this request not being obliged? Why? I asked and asked and asked, and the best I could get was no update yet. For something I know you can jump on your phone and do under 5 minutes. So I started suspecting something is fishy. I gave him deadlines. All these things have got messages. From this time to that time, this needs to be done. If you are not going to do it, then I'm going to do something about it. Because I'm not dumb. I knew what to do. But I was expecting that it is flowing mutually. You have those keys officially, use it and do this, but you didn't. And I had to do what needs to be done. I added myself in the company house. with Charles still being there. The KYC department of the bank got across through email and requested updates of company information. I duly filled out all the information because I know all of the information. And I printed these forms. I left them for Charles to sign. Because one thing I will never do is to forge any person's signature, no matter what. He left those documents unsigned. He didn't even come. The last he came to Grand Valley was before he traveled in December last year. Was it December or November he traveled? Thereabout. And next time he came was when he came back in February. He came twice on 2 weekends, and that was it. No, in January. He came once, not twice. 1 weekend, and that was it. He never came to the business premises. And I told him, I don't know what you think we are doing, but what is happening is not anywhere close to what we should be doing. And I can't keep on keeping on this way. These documents that you need to sign for the bank to do the needful by giving me access to the business accounts, you are refusing to come sign it. You refuse to add me to the company house. Now I've added myself. And this document needs you to sign. You are not forthcoming to signing it. I said, you have till this time, another deadline, to sign these documents. Otherwise, I'll have to do the needful. And the needful is, I need to get to the business account, for crying out loud. That's my destination. That was my journey, and nothing was going to stop it. Not even his shenanigans was going to stop it. So I had to give him a deadline, which was on the 11th of March. No, 11th of April, thereabouts. He ignored the deadline. I extended the deadline. He ignored it. And I did the needful because the bank, as at then, had stopped the debit card, which was the only thing I could use to, pay me when I go for procurement. Otherwise, next to be transferring funds. So I had to remove him entirely from company house because you can't flog a dead horse. You can't flog a dead horse. To the business, this partner was long gone. In everything you could see in his footprints as regards running affairs of the business, you could see he was long gone from the business. All he was holding on to was any day he walks in, he will buga as I'm part of this business and take things for free and go. No, bro, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Not under my watch at least. And I made that clear. So immediately the journey of getting into the bank, access to the bank account started, right? You know what these guys did? They reconciled. When two people who were enemies reconciled for your case. And they swept all the money in the business account. They wiped it all off. So I was expecting to see funds where there was nobody accessing the fund. The card I had been blocked and all of that. Eventually, when I had access, I met empty account, overdrawn account that was overdrawn by minus 300 and something with a failed direct debit. Oh my days. They stole all the business money, just like what the previous partnership did. Took all the business money, left it at minus 0 for me to crack on. And then they went out trying to destroy my image as well. Saying you called police for Alex. Yes, I did call police for Alex. You know why? Remember I told you Alex had left the business, traveled to Kenya and all of that. During COVID as well. All the monies that was collected by the company from COVID, he was given portions of it just to offset the claim he had as his capital investment in the business. he was given Uluda. And out there in Kenya, when you're in Africa and you don't have source of income in Africa, and you are depending from savings from here to run your life, at a point the savings will finish. At a point you will be calling people for money. I've been there, I know what I'm saying. So that situation came, and he was, doing a lot of calls, asking for loans and all of that. And the money genuinely wasn't there. Charles wouldn't even hear of it because the name Alex was driving him cacas. He wouldn't even hear of it that Alex wants to be loaned money. Genuinely, the money wasn't there, but he wouldn't hear of it. So he got back eventually, and he wants to muscle his way back into the business he had resigned from. I told him, no, not under my watch, because I begged you not to leave, but you opted to leave. You gave me reasons which are documented why you must leave. I respected that. And now you want to muscle yourself back. No. It can't be happening. It can't be like that. It can't happen. I said that. I insisted on that because it was me he was coming to now. Remember, he's not in talking terms with Charles. And Charles is in the background insisting I should not allow Alex to do what he's trying to do. I said, I don't need your mentoring or motivation on this. I know what it's taken me to come back into this business in the manner of being actively involved in running it. I know personal stuff I shelved I shouldn't have, just to make sure, because this business is my baby. That's how I see it. I've shelved years of my activeness, in social space and all of that for this business. So you can't just walk out and in at will. No, you have created the hardship of living, and it was someone that mocked up those hardship. You can't just come back now and see that, it's still there, and you want to muscle your way back in. No, if there is anything that you think, any entitlement you think, we discuss it. Not you coming into the business forcefully. No, we discuss it. You raise your concerns and we clarify it for you, citing documentations and things that communications between us and you. But you can't just muscle your way in. So being that he wasn't talking with Charles, I was down the one he was talking to, and I was now the one he was bringing the attack on. There was a day in Afro Latino, I was out after closing for business to chill a bit with a few friends of mine, and they came in. Him and Charles came in because at that time when he started trying to muscle his way back and seeing the resistance from myself, and then Charles on his side, not coming to terms with the shareholding that I've kept on the table for him to pick. The ones he handpicked was the ones that spelled out his 25% of the shareholding. He wasn't coming in terms with 25%. So he resorted to asking Alex, Alex, what was the agreement we had about sharing? I said, whatever you are referring to is null and void. This is me and you here, and this is what is on the table. So that reality he was not dealing with was what re-established his relationship with Alex on the WhatsApp forum that I created that three of us were on. And when Alex saw that, he felt, maybe these two are fighting. That is where he saw the opening that motivated him to force his way back. I said, no. I'm going to close down this forum, thanking God that both of you had reconnected your speech back. You can communicate now, right? I'm shutting this forum. So whatever you want to talk or plan, call each other. At least I've reestablished your relationship. I've reestablished it, right? So you can now phone each other. But to be on this platform and be making this noise, I removed both of them from the platform, and all the communications on the platform are still intact till today. And then on there you could see how the business was, being run when it was all of us and all of that. The story for another day, because these are different layers, different shades, right? Now let me stick to why the police was called, which is what I was trying to explain. So that crack he saw, he wanted to muscle his way back. And now the reunion with Charles happened. So both of them now and again have private meetings. All I know is that I was an Afro-Latino and they both worked in company of other friends of theirs, who by extension are acquaintances of mine. Alex asked me for, Castro, buy me a drink. I said, by all means. We went to the bar. I bought him double shots. I bought myself a double. And he said, I sent you a message earlier in the day. You've not read it. I said, bro, it's been very busy for me. I barely had time to look at my messages. So there that we were stood, I opened up my message and read the message he sent. I said to him, okay, I've seen it. I'll reply to you adequately. He said, no, give me a reply now. I was like, bro, are you for real? This guy held me hostage because he's a bigger man. He held this part of the bar, that part of the bar, and me, I was trapped in the center. And he was saying, no, do it. And I said, bro, we didn't have any appointments to meet here. You only asked me to buy you a drink and that's why we're standing here. Why are you now holding me hostage from leaving? And he started blabbing. Oh, you guys are fucking, it's my sweat here for, What I started receiving was punches, short jabs. I tried to break loose from that grip, no. And then I, forcefully did that and went straight to Charles and said, what is happening? Alex asked me to buy him drink over there, and I'm doing that. And then next thing I was blocked off by this heavy man and throwing jabs at me. As I was talking to Charles there, he stumbled across the room to where we were talking to continue argument of, a business in another business premises. I said, no, I can't be dragged into this, shameful act. So I went outside and he followed me outside, clouting for a fight. And it was then it dawned on me, he was pissed already. The man was drunk. He was, I didn't notice it because when they came in, it was just that vibe of, hey, what's up, buy me a drink, But outside then, I could see he was, he was proper drunk. So I said, okay, all right. I know already that what someone has in mind when somebody say when drunk, and they act when they are drunk. So I was watching carefully and closely. And he kept chasing me about in the street with a fist. So I was making jest, running, because I knew he was drunk. He couldn't get, he couldn't run to me or whatever. So I was just doing that jesty, what are you doing, fam? Why are you trying to punch me? What have I done to you? He's saying, my sweat. He was just blabbing some incoherent stuff, but determined to get me and give me that heavy punch. I didn't call the police because of that, brothers and sisters. I did not call the police because of that. But I stopped greeting him. Anywhere I see him, I don't extend handshakes. I stuck to my lane. Because if a man does that to you and you don't see the signs proper, then you are blind. Your sensitivities as a man is zero. So I stopped. And he was now making efforts through other people that we know, to start talking back with me. I said, no, I'm at a place of peace. not speaking with you, because us not talking, all those ideas you are trying to peddle as still being part of the business, you don't have any room for that. And while that door was even opened in the first place, was because he listened out to hear where his name will be called over and over and over for the monies he illegally took from the business, which Charles could not dictate because he was not coming around. But he just took the paperwork he gave me, the bank statements he gave me. I asked Charles for statements from, I came back in October. I asked for statements from October 20 October 2019. No, from July 2019. He printed from the previous year, and in black and white I could see how Alex was siphoning business money. But before I came back from Nigeria from that long trip, I had given myself a promise. I was not gonna investigate or probe what had happened in my absence. I was just gonna take it from when I came in moving forward. So when I had requested for the bank statement was in October, after he had resigned in September. So I requested for bank statement from July, but Charles printed from the previous year. So though I saw the gaps, I didn't raise any singular red flag. And Charles was expecting me to have scrutinized and found. I said, bro, you were the one physically here with Alex. So if under your watch he was able to perpetuate all of this, why will I now be the one coming back from Nigeria to persecute or to investigate or to probe? I'm only concerning myself from this point where I came back going forward. Anything that happened before I came, none of my business. So that was why Alex did not hear anybody saying he ate money. He misappropriated business funds. So he felt maybe we were not intelligent enough to have seen his footprint on services he gave, which was why he never accepted all the pleading of staying. Because he was thinking staying means, dragging the money back from him or embarrassing him. So he ran as fast as he could when I came back. You see? But I didn't bother myself with none of those because it doesn't matter to me. So now he is trying to force himself back. He has attacked me verbally bare times. The physical assault at Afro Latino, I cut off greeting him or exchanging pleasantries with him. I declared him persona non grata. Anywhere I see him, I don't see anybody. I just see space. And it was a place of peace for me going forward. But it took interventions of people who have turned my friends who are from the Kenyan community, speaking to me. I say, okay, let it not be like I'm this tough-headed guy. Everyone is painting my character to be. I started, sanitation is not love, they said, didn't it? I started giving him handshakes back. That was a mistake I did. Because the instance that happened, he started getting comfier, coming around the staff, telling them, oh, if I buy things here, you shouldn't charge me. I'm part of this business, just like you don't charge Castro. He started bringing those, innuendos in the equation. I only told the staff simply, if you do that, I'll take it from your wage. So he has no authority to enforce the things he came back to enforce. And when he's asked to pay his bill, he feels bad. Remember, he has 20% discount on personal recognition, which I always give him, which the staff always give him. But paying his bills becomes drudgeon because he has this sense of entitlement that he shouldn't be paying bills. Me, he's referring to, he doesn't know I pay my bills in the business because he only saw transaction of me taking and not paying. He feels, oh, he doesn't pay. But that's a story for another day. So, on a day, I had closed for the business. We had a water leakage from the block of flats upstairs. It was bad. It spoiled the camera system, everything. The back door was faulty, so the door is only locked when we are going. I've shut the front door, waiting for the people to finish their last drink before I go. Even people were asking one for the road. I said, no, I'm not selling you nothing. Then Alex walked in from the back door. And he asked for drink. I said to him, I pulled him to one side and said, bro, these people are asking for one drinks, and I've told them I'm not selling. I need to go. My missus is phoning me. But I'm going to give you one drink. Anything you want now, tell me. I'm going to serve you. Use the opportunity and give these people one last drink. I'll take this call from my wife, believing that at the end of it, you guys must have finished your drinks, and then go. He got two doubles in a glass. Instead of £20, I gave him 20% discount and charged him the difference, which he paid. And I went to the smoke area to take my call. I was there, receiving the call when he walked outside to ask for permission to go get drink from the bar. I said no. You are the DPS, actually. Your name is there as DPS. And what you are doing is what is going to put the business in trouble. If you want to help, what you can do is to help me make these ones leave. You can go elsewhere and drink. But drinking is closed in Grandmother. And this guy went on, This guy went on he started saying a lot of things. Unprintable words he used and all of that. I didn't utter a word before man and God. What I told him was, Alex, I'm not going to run after you to stop you from, but I've told you, do not go inside the bar. QED. I gave 30 seconds, 50 seconds, 1 minute, chill. And then I walked into look at him behind the bar. Everyone's like, oh, give me one. He said, no, I'm not selling, no, I'm just taking drink for myself. If anybody wants to buy anything, they should talk to Castro. But bro, that was not our conversation behind. You are not meant to be in this bar. And I opened my mouth and said it to him. Alex, what are you doing behind the bar? You are not meant to be behind that bar. I spoke to you about this outside. Because the impression he's trying to create in the heads of those people is that things are normally the way it was. No, we have that limit and I want you to stick by it. So I walked into the bar, I'm not going to lie. I picked that glass of drink he poured for himself, went into the kitchen, poured it into the sink. Because I've asked everybody, please, let's go. But you know what happened? Immediately I poured that drink and I was turning back. This guy held me like Undertaker. He held me on my throat like that. And he was squeezing the life out of me. Shoving me like, that guy assaulted me in the kitchen. It took the grace of God for me to break loose from him and ran into not to fight him, I ran. I ran into the customer area, turned my camera on, took a video, which I still have, whilst explaining to the people who didn't witness what happened in the kitchen, what had happened. I said, Alex almost killed me in the kitchen. Please, can everyone leave? So I was recording that episode because the CCTV cameras, remember I told you about the leakage that happened. We were waiting to be fixed. They were not functional. If they were functional, that story for another day. And Alex started disconnecting the tail, the brain box of the business. I was like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing with that? He said he knows what he's doing. I said, leave that alone. He disconnected it, took the tail along and went. So the next day I phoned the police. I phoned them to make entry. That's the right thing to do. I'm not on about these African ways of solving issues. You bring people who don't know nothing about the issues, and they use sentiment to listen, and they use sentiment to say, oh, forgive. No. This has gone beyond this. It's gone to assault, it's double assault, false claims and all of that. No, the authority needs to get involved. So the next day when I phoned the police, I narrated all I've said now to them as regards the incidents that happened in the kitchen, and they asked for the video clip. They sent someone out who interviewed me, and I gave them the video clips I had and all of that. They took Alex's detail, tried contacting him, and I don't know, but I know a week later, boom, Alex turned up in Grand Valley, and I was petrified. I was scared for my life. I was scared to death. I phoned the police. I thought I made a request of this man not attending these premises, and they said I think they were not able to get hold of him. So I said, he's here. They asked if I've told anybody to tell him to leave. I said no. I spoke with one of our customers who is from Kenya too. He said, why don't I tell the other business partner to speak to him? At that point, I said, what's even the point? I walked straight to him because people were there. I was still on the phone with the police. I told him, Alex, I'm on the phone with the police, and they've requested you leave these premises because I had made a request to them that you are not allowed to come in these premises. And he waved me aside. I'm not going anywhere. I told the police, he said he's not leaving. They sent out the boys. And the boys came, they picked him because he had an issue of burglary. Because until he took, the police entered the case as burglary. And I was like, I thought burglary is when somebody, breaks into your house when you are not there, caters away with your valuables. They said, yeah, because it's not his property and he doesn't have your consent to take it. Even though you are there, like you were there and caught it on the camera, it's still burglary. I said, wow. If that is the case, then who am I to say otherwise? If that is the position of the law. It's a burglar. Then let the law take its course. I need my till back. And they took him, he went there, told the lies he told, got released, and he sat on the till and wants me to go through a civil suit filing with him to get the till back. Well, that one is story for another day. But in a nutshell, in a very nutshell, this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about the partnership of myself, Charles, and Alex. That's how it ended. Both connived and swept the bank accounts clean, stole from the purse they didn't contribute a dime. So, for the people who are coming to my face to say, why did you call police for Alex? You be the judge. Tell me what you would have done differently from all I did. You be the judge. So, what they now go about doing is tarnishing my image. Oh, this boy, an African, he called police for a fellow African. And some other people now became their chief sympathizers and chief mourners. Amplifying it, telling it to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. How Castro is a bad person. He called police for his fellow business. And the people doing this are the people that have done bigger favor in the past. But because of mere business antics, people are condescending so low to image tarnishing just to be relevant in the industry. I don't blame you guys. I don't blame nobody. I blame myself. And the things I'm blaming myself of, I've forgiven myself and moved forward from it. So as it is now, I'm on my right path. The Egyptians you saw yesterday, you ain't seeing them no more. Because people who want to be relevant by putting others down are the weak ones. They are the weak ones. That's why they do all sorts. But you see me, if you want to believe all of that you've heard, it's up to you, by all means. If you've heard my voice, you be the judge. Take what they told you into account. Take the version I've told you into account. Use your God-given thinking faculty, your God-given wisdom, sense, your knowledge from school and everything to judge this matter. You be the judge. Judge this matter and see that is just cheap blackmail to destroy my personality and to destroy my business. They are canvassing for customers, right? But I don't give a hoot. People will always be where they are welcomed. For me, I walk with my shoulders high because my activities in these leads has stepped up the game for African relaxation sports, for African hospitalities generally. So I'm not someone that will be swayed or moved by cheap blackmail. No. Instead, you are telling me, Castro, work smarter, work harder, because I know what I've imputed. I know where we met leads when we came. I know where leads is from our activities. And all I'm going to tell you, the wonderful people who believe in what we are doing, watch out for more exciting things coming from our stables. There is no need telling you this, that, but watch out. You're going to see it pan out. You're going to see it pan out. We play catch us if you can, because we deserve more spots. We deserve more relaxation spots. We don't need to be tarnishing people's image in order to get customers. No, we need to give them the best of services to retain them. That's the game changer. So if people are opening up more businesses, I am not perturbed. I'm happy for them, because variety, they say, is the spice of life. And the Africans, we deserve more than we already have. So if people are inspired to move into businesses, it's what I've been preaching. It's what I've been shouting on top of my voice, is for people to do. Instead of taking monies back home, when you make money here, you take it back home. No, move into business. Consolidate your funds here and get yourself into the system properly. Contest for political positions, win elections, and help integrate your people better. Help ameliorate the marginalization on the African race in the diaspora. Not cheap blackmails and looking for whose image to launder in order to bring them down. A word they say is enough for lives. I still remember my humble self, Mr. C.I.N. Okoye, Alhaji Castro, the only Christian Alhaji Nejoka. All right, my lovely people, thank you for your time. Thank you for this 1 hour you've spent to listen to me. I promised you it's not gonna be more than 1 hour, and I kept strictly to that. God bless you, bless your business, bless your family, bless all that you do. That is good today and forever. Amen. Peace of the Lord be with you. Thank you very much. Remain blessed. Bye.